Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to my 31 Days of Horror in October, day 19. Today we're going to be talking about The Legend of Halloween Jack. The Legend of Halloween Jack is a 2018 film which runs approximately 90 minutes and is written and directed by Andrew Jones. Now this stars Lee Bain as Halloween Jack, Jason Gregg as Joe Johnson, and Sarah John as Jennifer Hollister. Now this is a UK film. The budget was $300,000 and the worldwide gross was $19,500. Okay, Andrew Jones is, you know him most likely from the Robert films, all 5 of them. He also did the Utah Murders, or Utah Cabin Murders, Cabin 28, and the Jonestown Haunting, which I have reviewed. Basically, a low budget director that is British. Now, Halloween Jack takes a bunch of films that we all know and love and combine them to make one new legend. I read in a review, of course, I've seen this movie a few times, but I read in a review that this is basically a slasher spoof. I don't agree with that. I think this was his one try at a really legit slasher. The follow-up is called the Curse of Halloween Jack. That is pretty much a spoof, and I'll be getting to that sometime next week. But let me give you a rundown of how this all works. In the beginning of the film, you have a man called Jack Kane, who is accused of killing several people, kids. Police officers and their families want him to get the death penalty. They want him executed. They want him to be found guilty. They want justice for their family and their town. Well, apparently, one of the police officers forgot to read him his rights, and he gets off. All the officers and the family aren't too happy about this, so they kind of get a posse together. They string him up like a scarecrow, and they all take turns shooting him while he is on this cross, killing Jack Kane. They bury the body very close to where they were and decide never to speak of this again. Sound familiar? Well, one of the family members who lost a loved one actually couldn't take the stress of knowing that they killed somebody. So he commits suicide right where they buried the body, which resurrects Halloween Jack, or Jack Kane. And he goes and picks off people one by one. Now, I first learned of this film from Jay Super Awesome. Surprisingly enough, Jack. We're going to call him Halloween Jack. Actually, Jack's my buddy. He always does reviews of really cool slasher films. And after watching his review on The Legend of Halloween Jack, I decided that I needed to see this. Now, as I said before, this is very low budget because Andrew Jones specializes in low budget horror. And I believe this was his one try at a legitimate film. Granted, he only had $300,000 in order to work with. Yeah, only $300,000, yeah. But, he really did give this a good go. My one drawback with this film is the kills. I mean, I'm not going to fault them for using parts of other movies. They name drop constantly during this film. Haddonfield, Antonio Bay, Hollister, yeah, the list goes on and on. But the kills are usually away from the camera for the most part, and it did bother me a little bit. Other than that, I do believe that this is a fun movie. like I said, it was his. He really tried to make a legitimate slasher. Not to say that the Robert movies aren't decent, because I do have a love for them because I love low budget independent cinema, but they're not great. This is definitely higher quality than what we're used to from Andrew Jones. So definitely check this one out. Stay tuned for day 20, and if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.